Hello, today I am talking to Dominik, who is one of our trainers for many different courses, and he's a specialist in solution focused leadership, and of course also coaching in most of its shapes and forms. And Dominik, we want to be talking about how we teach or create an environment for people to discover how they want to coach, for people to learn coaching. And maybe as a first question, what do you appreciate about how we run courses at Solutions Academy?
Yeah, thank you for having me here. And there's so many things that I appreciate. And the beginning, I don't know, you probably remember when I started with you, or you asked me and Elfie to help you with your courses. I was very skeptical with the 2 hours per week. And now I really love it. It's such a great format to have 24 weeks in the Coaching Fundamentals course and 2 hours per week. It's kind of a good amount of experience of exploring, and then they go back to their life and they try out and they come back a week later. And it kind of, everything gets together week by week. And before I was only used to having full day courses where you're there for 8 hours, but these 2 hours are really, they're joyful, they're quite dense with experience, and them sharing what they brought and where they're at, and then connecting that with our content and exploring. And so it's really fascinated by this format. And it's, I think, also for me as a trainer, good to come in, do 2 hours, and then leave again, and then kind of exploring where they are a week later. And the second thing I think connected to that is that we have different trainers in the course. So not one person doing 24 times, but maybe 4 trainers. And each of us has, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 sequences. And then they can experience different training styles. And it's also for us, or for me, it's really nice to go in there and having, on the one hand, having these 3, 4, or 5 times to work with them, and then seeing them, I don't know, 5, 6, 10 weeks later, see where they are at the moment, and also hearing from how they enjoy the different styles of the trainers, different experiences, different stories. And so I think this format really fits well for me as a trainer, and also for participants. With the kind of the weekly dose of solution focus of coaching.
And I think it's also really cool that then you can choose your mentor. So you maybe have experienced 3 or 4 trainers in the course, and then you can see, oh, I would like Dominik's perspectives and Elfie's and rules. And so you can really mix and match and get different views, which I think is much richer than if you only have one trainer.
And I think that's it, because you said our experiences are different and our stories are different. And I think that's also one thing I like about how Solutions Academy is doing it. On the one hand, there's a clear program with clear content. And on the other hand, there are all these differences with the trainers. And I am very strict in some areas. And I tell stories on how I do it, or what is important to me. And then another trainer comes with another view. And this kind of, on the one hand, fits together. And on the other hand, they can choose, their way and find out their way of coaching. And I think that's what it's all about, that they kind of not copy the one trainer they know, but kind of get inspired by people and find their own way. I think that's one thing I hear the most, that people say, well, it was interesting to see that I can find my way, do it my way, and hear all those stories of how it can be done.
And I think that's one of the prerequisites. If you want to join one of our courses, you kind of should want to find your way.
Yes.
If you think that you're going to be taught the one right way, then we invite you to open your perspective and say, no, there is not one right way of coaching. There's your right way of coaching.
Yeah. And it's also reflected at the start of our sessions, where we have a conversation with each other about the experiences they had last week, for example. Or I also like to ask the question, where are you at the moment? And then you hear stories from them of their last coaching session and what they managed to do or where they struggled. And this usually ties in with the story of someone else. And on the one hand, you could see this kind of start sequence that we have as just kind of a nice, I don't know,
warm up. Yeah.
But it always, what I like is that it always connects to the content that follows. So there's some, it's on the one hand, I really love to facilitate these conversations, and they usually take too much time for the content that we have planned, but it connects to what we've done. So we can go through the content that we have planned faster on the one hand, and with connecting with their experiences. I think that's what I like. I don't like to teach in a sense of I'm in front of a class and then this is how you do it, but connect that to the experiences. Also the way we do kind of our content, that we let them explore and let them, on the one hand, find out their way, let them wrestle with our thoughts, and also on Zoom, in breakout rooms, in different groups with each other, so that they also hear from each other and learn from each other. And then it's not about us and about kind of just the content, but about their thoughts, their kind of way of finding their way.
And I think it would be such a shame if the only person that participants learned from was the trainer.
Yeah.
Because this is adult education. We have 10, 12, 8, whatever, experienced adults in the room. And yes, of course, we're the experts in coaching and solution focus, but everybody else also has expertise. And I think for me, it's super important to be able to profit from everyone and support everybody's learning, and be willing to learn myself and be willing to support the learning of everybody else as a co-construction, as a collaboration, co-creation.
Yeah, but not completely open. That's also I think the one important element that we have. It's on the one hand, we have the ICF core competencies. So in the mentor coachings, they send in their tapes. There is a kind of a guideline of what they need to show, need to do in their coachings to get certified. And on the one hand, on the other hand, there are so many possibilities to how to do that and how to get there. And they can use everything they learn in the course, but they can also use everything they already come with.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm fascinated by courses where you have this huge span of very experienced people, some experience in coachings, but mostly in how to facilitate conversations. They've been leaders for years, or they have been working in other conversational practice for years. And then also people who are new to this way of working, and then the kind of the possibilities of learning together, I think is something that always fascinates me.
And I think the beginner's mind is such a gift. The expert's minds as well, but the beginner's minds is such a gift when people who are not experienced in coaching ask questions where everybody's like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
Well, and it's not always easy. To also stay in there. But I think that's a good thing with the 2 hours also for me as a trainer. And the good thing also that we record the sessions and then they can watch it later on, that also we can go back, and sometimes I go out of those training sessions and they're just fabulous. It's really great. And sometimes I go and say, oh, I should have done this differently.
What happened?
What did I do there? Or being more open to their ideas. And then the good thing or great thing is for me, I can go back and watch that sequence again. Also as a trainer, and they can go back and watch what we've done too. So it's also learning. It's not only learning, I think, for participants, but also for us.
And I think with every group of participants, we have to figure out what works for them.
Yeah.
So it's not like we know how it works, but it's about how can we collaborate with this group of people. And it's emergent. It's not a science, it's an art. Coaching is an art, coach training is an art, mentor coaching is an art.
And it also emerges in kind of the way of how we collaborate together, or how we learn together emerges in the courses. So I always think it's really fascinating, because in the beginning there's so many in kind of things the information they get, and things well where they might get confused, and then just also see how kind of week by week things kind of fall into their place, and like these aha moments. That's what we did in session 1. Oh, that's what we did in session 2. This is how it all connects. And I love those moments of confusion on the one hand, because then I assume that they go out and they kind of, what was that about? And then things also happen in their lives. And then when they come back a week, 2, 3 later, it's like, now I see what you did there.
I had one of these lovely moments in the coaching and organizations, and we teach something that's called the miracle question, which is like, suppose a miracle happened and all your problems are, everything, the world was like you wanted it to be, how would you notice? And one participant from Coaching Fundamentals was like, I never understood, why do we ask this question? And then in Coaching and Organizations, she watched a video and she says, now I get it. So it just it's a process. It's really a process.
Yeah, just the other day I had this similar experience where someone said, a rich, detailed description of the preferred future. Well, this is not just one question. This should be a whole part of a conversation. And I said, yes, that's one of the most difficult things to grasp when you begin. It's not just what's your goal and then you go there, but it's like this rich, detailed description of the preferred future. And I said, well, if you want, try out a session where you have a good coaching agreement at the beginning, and then just play with this preferred future, and just go as long as you can with your client, of course, in collaboration and but in partnering, but still go as long as you can, maybe 20, 30, or even more, and see what happens, and just to explore what it looks like when you really, really also exaggerate that, and then you get an idea of what is a good maybe a good enough detailed description. And the person was like, now I experienced that, I got that, and that was really cool.
Super. So thank you very much for this conversation. And again, if you who are watching have any questions, or you want to come join us and meet us, come to one of our free meetups and exchange sessions. They happen weekly and can be booked at www.solutionsacademy.com/registration. Come hang out with us.
Yes, we're looking forward to seeing you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.